Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Go Home Show. I am Chris Adair, and tonight I am not joined by Richard McKinney, one of my best friends and fellow wrestling fanatic. But it doesn't matter, because we're going to do the show anyway. First of all, I'd like to talk about the Royal Rumble. It was the New Age Outlaws taking on the Brotherhood, and the New Age Outlaws coming out with the win. That means that there are new tag team champions in the New Age Outlaws. Oh, you didn't know? Well, you better know now, because now you're dealing with the 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions. 14 years since they have held those belts. Moving on, it was Daniel Bryan taking on Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt getting a clean victory over Daniel Bryan. However, a tremendous matchup. A match where the fans were going nuts the entire time. They were invested in this matchup. They wanted to see Daniel Bryan. They got to see Daniel Bryan. However, Bray Wyatt got the win. Moving on, it was Big Show taking on Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar getting straight to the point as soon as he got in that ring. Brock Lesnar taking Big Show out with a couple punches. Then he grabs a steel chair, just destroys Big Show, destroys the chair. And it was not a pretty sight, ladies and gentlemen. Brock Lesnar winning that match and showing his dominance at the Royal Rumble. And then it was the WWE World Heavyweight title match. Randy Orton taking on John Cena. Now, personally, this match, as I said last week, was not even on my radar. I didn't really care about this match. As it was happening, I was watching it with Richard and I was watching it with our friend Nathan, and we were just like kind of goofing off. We didn't really pay any attention to the match, really. When we started, it was towards the end, and during the match, everyone was chanting Daniel Bryan, which is no surprise. And that's what the fans want. The fans want Daniel Bryan to be that WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which brings us to the Royal Rumble. Now, this match was full of surprises and records, actually. First thing to mention, Daniel Bryan was not in the Royal Rumble, as was suspected. I suspected this, seeing as that on a WWE poll on the .com, there was no choice to pick Daniel Bryan as the winner of the Royal Rumble. They had a poll up there that said, who do you want to win the Rumble? 17% of people, 17% said they didn't even, they had the list. They had Batista, they had CM Punk, they had a bunch of other people. And interestingly enough, not surprising, 17% of people that took the poll wanted to see somebody who wasn't on that list. Now, I'm assuming that person was Daniel Bryan. On to the match, some special appearances, Kevin Nash, JBL, and El Torito. Also a special appearance, Alexander Rusev, a NXT superstar, made an appearance at the Rumble. Lasted a good while, but got eliminated. I also wanted to say that I thought, being a Dolph Ziggler mark, I felt that Dolph Ziggler didn't get enough time in the Rumble. He spent like maybe 5 minutes. I mean, I felt like we hadn't seen Dolph Ziggler in a while, and for him to only get 5 minutes in the Royal Rumble when last year he started in the Royal Rumble and lasted a very long time. Very interesting choice, but it got down to the final four. It was CM Punk, starting from number 1, Sheamus, who returned, Roman Reigns, who eliminated 12 men, breaking that record that Kane had made years ago, and of course the Animal Batista. That's your final four right there. And that shows a lot about what the future holds. I can't remember who Punk got eliminated by, but Punk gets eliminated, then Sheamus, and it's down to Roman Reigns and Batista. They have a spear off, basically, and at this point you know it's Batista who's going to win the match. Roman Reigns really doesn't have a shot at this point. mostly because Roman Reigns has only been around for a few years. Batista, he's been around for about 10 years or so. And so weighing those two outcomes together and who will draw money at WrestleMania, you got to go with Batista. Although it would have been a definite upset if Roman Reigns had come out on top. Wouldn't have made much sense, though, when it came to those two men. However, what would have made the most sense was to have Daniel Bryan be in that match and win it. Win the entire thing. But this is what the WWE has given us. It's interesting, though, because on Raw, on Monday, they actually took the fans' response at the Royal Rumble and turned it, this is what WWE does best. They took what was real and they interjected it into the storyline. We started Raw off with the Authority coming out, and of course, both Stephanie and Triple H mock the fans for not getting what they wanted, and just being completely obnoxious. Triple H goes on and says, "Man, it was such a great night. Randy Orton beating John Cena and Brock Lesnar beating Big Show within an inch of his life, and the New Age Outlaws winning the tag team championships. Batista winning the Royal Rumble." Didn't even care to mention Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan comes out and gets right into Triple H and Stephanie's faces and says, "Hey, listen to the fans. They're the ones that you're entertaining, and you're not doing what's best for business if you're not giving what the people want." And Daniel Bryan gets right up in Triple H's face, and then Triple H decides that he's going to summon the Shield. Shield comes out and starts destroying Daniel Bryan. "It's a shame they lost their head." Sheamus music hits. He comes out, takes on the Shield on his own. He gets down. Cena comes out, which doesn't really make sense to me. What would have made sense was CM Punk, but that's another thing that I kind of want to talk about later. Cena, Sheamus, and Punk, they go out on top. Later on, it's announced that tonight in the main event, it's going to be a 6-man qualifier match. It's going to be John Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan taking on the Shield. Whoever wins that match, all 3 members of that team will go on to compete inside that Elimination Chamber. Later, it was Rey and Sin Cara taking on the Real Americans. The Real Americans winning their first match in quite a while and getting a little momentum. Zeb Colter slaps Jack Swagger in the face in the middle of the match, gets him fired up, and really puts that fire behind Jack Swagger to get the job done. Cesaro hitting a huge European uppercut and then getting that neutralizer to get the win. Later in the night, Emma from NXT making another appearance in the Fandango versus R-Truth match, for which R-Truth won the match. Coming up from the commercial break, it was Randy Orton coming out to address the fans. Brad Maddox, the general manager, or the general lapdog of the Authority, pretty much, comes out, introduces Randy Orton. Randy Orton says, "Why, pray tell, am I in a match against 5 other dudes in an Elimination Chamber match 1 month after I just had this match with John Cena?" And out comes Batista. And he says, "I don't care about anything. I don't care if I have to go through Brock Lesnar. I don't care if I have to go through John Cena. I don't care if I have to go through Daniel Bryan. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. At WrestleMania, I'm going to walk out as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and there's nothing anybody can do or say about it." Then enter Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. Paul Heyman gets the mic and he says, "Brad, I want you to go to the Authority, and I'm going to give you a couple of choices here. Choice number 1, Orton versus Brock for the WWE World Heavyweight title right here tonight. Or choice number 2, we'll have Brock Lesnar taking on Batista for that number 1 contendership." Well, then Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar make their leave, which brings us to the Battle of Cleveland match. That's right, they were in Cleveland, Ohio on Monday Night Raw, and just so happens that The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, both from Cleveland, Ohio, Dolph Ziggler getting that win over The Miz, Dolph Ziggler making his return to Monday Night Raw after several weeks of absence due to a concussion. So this is good for Ziggler. This means that hopefully he starts to build that momentum up again. Taking us to Ryback and Curtis Axel taking on the Usos. A great showing by all of these guys, I thought. Once again, if the Usos are in a match, it's going to be great. And once again, that theory has proved itself to be a fact. The Usos beating Ryback, continuing to ride that momentum wave that they have been on for the last month. Later on in the night, it was Alberto Del Rio taking on Kofi Kingston. This match, once again, ADR match, slow point of the night. Took a long time. I didn't feel like I just felt like I was just sitting there and watching, and it just took forever. I was like, when is this match going to be over? And the fans in the arena were even doing the random chants. I think it's interesting that instead of the fans being silent, a couple years ago, like if there was a match that people didn't find too interesting, they would just chant boring or just be silent and not care and take a bathroom break. However, since WrestleMania 29, it seems like the fans decide to randomly chant the commentators' names, or Randy Savage, or Rob Van Dam. This is a clear sign that the fans are not entertained by what's happening in the ring. And once again, it's another Alberto Del Rio match. Usually these random chants happen when it's Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio. Sheamus got hit by some random chants when he was taking on Randy Orton. I mean, this is a clear sign that the match that you are giving the fans is not interesting to them, so they have to entertain themselves. Just a thought. Alberto Del Rio wins that match. Towards the end, it picked up, but for the majority, was just kind of like, whatever. On to the next match. The New Age Outlaws taking on the Brotherhood in a tag title rematch. This match for the tag team championships. Road Dogg, doing his shtick, doing the DX thing, tells the Brotherhood straight up that, man, you guys were good, you just weren't that good. And then that started off a little heated brawl between the two teams. This match was very technical, a lot of headlocks, a lot of abdominal stretches, kind of slow-paced, technical, very entertaining, I thought. The match, however, does not end because Brock Lesnar comes out, takes out the Brotherhood. Paul Heyman grabs a mic and he says, this is what happens when the Authority decided to pick option 3, or option C as Austin Aries would call it, and decided to do neither of the things that Paul Heyman suggested. Then Brock Lesnar decides he's going to grab a chair and start wailing on both Cody Rhodes and Goldust, once again destroying that chair. Holy crap, basically. They're clearly showing that Brock Lesnar is not messing around here. He wants that WWE World Heavyweight title, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Very interesting stuff happening in that arena. Later on, it was announced that Jake the Snake Roberts is the next inductee into the Hall of Fame, and let me tell you guys, I'm excited for this because this might be one of the biggest Hall of Fames ever. The 2005 Hall of Fame were these men: Hulk Hogan, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, Jimmy Hart, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Nikolai Volkov, and the Iron Sheik. Those men are all huge wrestling icons. I mean, huge. They pretty much laid the foundation for the company that we see today. And this Hall of Fame is shaping up to be as equally big as that 2005 Hall of Fame. The Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, there's a lot of people who are saying there might be that Randy Savage induction. And I think this Hall of Fame is shaping up to be a great lineup, as it should be for WrestleMania 30. I mean, come on, you got to go big, and they are going big with the Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake. Now, on to the main event. Two teams, whichever team wins, all three men go on to face Randy Orton inside that Elimination Chamber. This match was very good. Another one of those things where if the Shield and Daniel Bryan are involved, it's going to be a fantastic match. You throw in Sheamus in there, and you got something good. Cena's kind of whatever. Just a great match overall. Towards the end, as Cena is hitting that STF on Roman Reigns breaking the STF, showing his strength, the Wyatts come out and attack John Cena. Sheamus and Daniel Bryan backing Cena up, taking out the Wyatts. The Wyatts flee, and as a result of the Wyatts attacking, the Shield lose, and the winners of that match and the three men who are going to enter that Elimination Chamber, Cena, Sheamus, Bryan, and this little altercation may end with a Shield versus Wyatts clash at either Elimination Chamber. I'm not sure it's going to be at WrestleMania, but I'll predict that at Elimination Chamber, these two teams are going to go head-to-head, and that's something that the fans have been asking for a while. Hopefully that's the direction they go. For me, that's really only a prediction off of what the commentators were saying, where it was like, the Wyatts cost Shield the match, and now the Shield won't be able to go on to the Elimination Chamber. So, right there, I think it's a possibility that we might see the Shield versus the Wyatts, and man, that will be an awesome match. Overall, this Raw had some high points and some low points. I'm gonna go right down the middle, give it a 3, because I thought ADR and Kofi, R-Truth and Fandango, the Divas match. It's matches like that where there's really no reason for them. It's not really helping anybody. There was nothing developed because of those matches. When I take a match, I say, did this develop anything? Did this help somebody? Did this give someone momentum? Did this match develop storyline? Any of that kind of stuff, and these matches didn't really do it. So because of those matches, I mean, you can't really give anywhere close to a 5-star rating, in my opinion. But I would say overall, this Monday Night Raw was good, pretty good. Very odd that we saw no CM Punk tonight. He lasted the entire Royal Rumble pretty much, save maybe the last 10 minutes, and we didn't even hear of CM Punk. We didn't even hear his name tonight, and at least I don't think so. I don't remember hearing it. Well, that was the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little weird not having Richard here. Tell me if the Go Home Show sold it for you. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRefIsBlind. You can follow my usual colleague, Richard McKinney, at Rich Country. I guess it's time to go home.